Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to unlock what I like to call a superpower for your English, the ability to say the exact same thing in totally different ways. And no, it's not magic. It's all about having the right tools in your toolkit. So let's kick things off with a big question.
All right, let's get right into it. Can two totally different looking sentences mean the exact same thing? What do you think? The answer is a resounding yes. And you bet it is. Check this out. Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa, and the Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. You see, in one, Leonardo is the star. In the other, it's the Mona Lisa. The fact doesn't change, just the spotlight. And that's exactly the skill we're going to break down today. Okay, so our very first tool in this new toolkit is all about changing the focus. It's like being a director, you get to decide who or what gets the spotlight in your sentence. This is going to make your English so much more dynamic. So that trick we just saw with the Mona Lisa, it has a name, the passive voice. So why would you even use this? Well, maybe you don't know who did the action, or maybe you just want to make the object, the thing that received the action, the most important part. The formula is actually pretty simple. You just grab the object, stick it at the front of the sentence, and then use the verb to be with the past participle. Okay, let's look at another one. So in the first sentence, my mother is the one doing the cleaning, right? She's the focus. But in the second one, bam, the house is suddenly the main character. The meaning is exactly the same, but you feel the difference, don't you? The emphasis is totally different. This is such a great trick to mix things up in your writing and speaking. All right, here's another way to change the focus, and this one is all about your vocabulary. We're talking about using opposites or antonyms. And the formula for this trick, super easy. You just swap a word for its opposite, and then you either add or take away the word not to keep everything balanced. It's like a little balancing act. I mean, think about it. If you say, the exam was difficult, you're saying the exact same thing as, the exam was not easy. See what we did there? We just swapped difficult for its opposite, easy, and added not. Simple. It's a really smart, subtle way to say the same thing, but with a little more style.
Okay, so we've got a handle on tweaking single sentences. You ready to level up? Because our next tool is all about connecting ideas to build bigger, better, more impressive sentences. Let's take two really simple ideas. First, it was raining. Second, we stayed at home. Now, obviously, these two things are connected, right? But how can we actually link them together in one sentence to show how they're related?
The answer? Conjunctions. These little words are like the super glue for your sentences. You've got because, which tells you the reason for something. Then there's so, which shows you the result. And but, which, well, that introduces a surprise or a contrast. Just three little words, but they create totally different connections.
So let's try because first. If we use that, we're explaining the reason, the why. So it becomes, we stayed at home because it was raining. See? It just flows so much better than two choppy little sentences. It tells a complete story. Okay, now let's swap that out and try so. This time, we're kind of flipping the sentence around. We start with the cause, the rain, and then we state the result. It was raining, so we stayed at home. It's the same situation, the same two facts, but just by changing that one little word, the whole flow of the sentence feels different. All right, tool number 3, this is where we get into the really good stuff. This is how you start to sound, like a real pro. We've talked about structure and connecting ideas. Now it's time to add the polish, the fine details that make your English super precise. First up in this section, comparisons. There's a really neat trick for rewriting comparisons using the phrase not as. It's a fantastic way to say the same thing, just from a different angle. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, check this out. Maria is taller than her brother. Simple fact, right? The main point is that Maria is the taller one. We can say that exact same thing like this. Maria's brother is not as tall as her. The meaning hasn't changed one bit. Okay, next up, let's talk about two little words that are super useful, to and enough. Think of them as two sides of the same coin. When you say something is to something, it usually means it's a problem. But when you say it's not enough of something else, you're just pointing out that it's lacking. It's a subtle difference. Here's a really clear example. The situation is, someone is young, so they can't drive a car. So you could say, he is too young to drive. The word too makes it sound like his age is the problem. Or you could say, he is not old enough to drive. This way, you're focusing on what he's missing. More years. See? Both sentences are perfectly correct and describe the exact same situation. Pretty cool, huh? All right, I know what you're thinking. Reported speech. It sounds complicated, right? But honestly, don't worry. It's just a fancy way of saying telling someone what another person said. And I've got a super simple 4-step recipe to make it easy. Just follow these steps and you'll get it right every time. Okay, let's try it out with an example. Imagine Tom says, quote, I am happy. So, step 1, say turns into said. Easy. Step 2, you can add the word that. It's optional but helpful. Step 3, I has to change to he because we're talking about Tom. And step 4, this is the key. You shift the tense back one step. So am becomes was, and what do you get? Tom said that he was happy. See? Not so bad once you break it down. Okay, last tool in this section, I promise. Let's talk about modal verbs. You know, those little helper verbs like can, must, and should. The great thing is, a lot of these have equivalent phrases you can just swap in. Like, instead of saying you mustn't park here, you could say you are not allowed to park here. It means the same thing. It's just another fantastic way to have more options when you're speaking or writing. And there you have it. Just like that, your English toolkit is officially stocked with all these new rewriting skills. We've covered changing the focus, connecting ideas, adding detail. You've learned so much. Seriously, great job. So let's do a super quick recap of all the awesome tools you've just picked up. We've got the passive voice, using opposites, connecting words, comparing things, to and enough. The list goes on. Every single one of these gives you more power and more flexibility. But before we wrap up, I've got one last pro tip for you. This is maybe the most important thing to remember. Whenever you rewrite a sentence, stop and ask yourself one simple question. Does my new sentence mean exactly the same thing as the original? If the answer is yes, then you've nailed it. So, what do you say? Ready to try out your new superpower? I've got a little challenge for you on the screen. Take those two ideas and connect them with the word because. I'm going to leave that with you to puzzle out. Go ahead. You've got the tools now. Thanks so much for joining me.